Hi, Bobby. It's good to see you.
Hello.
Yeah. So I thought I might find out a few more things about you and maybe share it with my friends.
Okay. Inquiry
So
minds want to know, so
there
let's
you
just,
go.
I'll tell you some information.
Good. All right. I happen to know for a fact that acting has been a very strong thread throughout your life.
Yes.
So where did that all begin? How early in your life did that start, and what happened?
Well, I've always wanted to be an actor.
Mm-hmm.
So it happened when I was 6 or something. I decided that that's what I wanted to do. So I've
Okay.
always known what I wanted to do. Isn't that crazy?
Mm-hmm. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
We usually have to go back to the 6-year-old in us to figure out what we are here to do. So you
hmm
stuck with it. That's excellent.
Yeah, so I've always wanted to be an actor, but it has taken me, storytelling has taken me all, so many different places that is pretty incredible. And when I started off, I was actually, I didn't really take my first class until I was 13, even though I knew that this was something that I wanted to do. And before that, I got into writing and writing poetry and stuff like that because I couldn't go to school for the arts or anything like that. And then I auditioned, but I was very shy. And when I took my first acting class, I was very shy. And so I had to overcome that in order to be able to do, you know, be able to go over get my dreams. So I had to overcome being super shy.
Did the acting help out with that?
Yeah, absolutely. Because, you have to use your voice, you have to, you know, put yourself out there. So, but it was something that I really wanted to do. So I pushed myself to do it. So, that was a part of it. And then acting has just been an incredible thing for me. I mean, it's not my main focus now because there's another part of me that's a healer that, comes into play with that. So, I'm not a traditional actor, I should say, in
Okay.
the way you would think of of an actor these days because I have the healing aspect of it, so I'm doing something a little bit different.
Well, that's fantastic. Do you bring the healing aspect into your acting and into your acting, the teaching that you do when you teach acting?
Yes, so that's um, the thing about me that's interesting is that even if you look at my chart, my astrology chart, I've got like a ton of Virgo in my chart, so it's like all about the body. It's all about healing and stuff like that. And so when I found that out, it made a lot of sense because that's the direction that I've gone with this. So I studied many years of acting, and then all of a sudden it was like, no, this healing thing has to be part of your life, and so that's the kind of my perspective on acting. How does it heal you? How does storytelling heal you? Um, how can we heal each other through storytelling? Those kind of things like really fascinate me.
There's such a need for it on the planet right now. That's
Right.
for certain.
Right. And I've had a lot of healing experiences from acting.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that's what has made brought it together for me. So I lived and I worked in Russia. I went to school there.
Mm-hmm.
And so that made me, and there it's very spiritual,
Mm.
um,
Mm.
and it's very deep and very spiritual, and everyone's really really into it, and so that really inspired me to have a new approach. And I lived there for a year, so I had a new way of, um, but I had felt like that's the way I was. And I go to a place where everybody's like me, who's really, really passionate about the theater, and it was something that's spiritual and deep, and people were looking for those things, and so I felt like, oh, I finally felt at home there, the way they look at theater, even though it was a very hard place for me to live physically, but it was still like I felt a soul connection there, and so that's how I look at theater, like in this really, passionate, soulful, transformative way. Like I want to tell stories that transform you. I mean, I like to be entertained and have a good time, but I also like I want to go deep with them, you know?
That's fantastic. So I do know that you lived in New York for some time.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah.
So you were a struggling actress in New York, waiting tables.
No, actually, never waited tables.
Excellent.
And my background is actually I started off as an actor, and I went to the School for the Arts and High School for the Arts, and then I went to get my BFA. But because I had in acting and theater, but because I had worked so hard in with my in high school, I had already knew a lot of things that the actors in college knew, and so then I started to direct, and I started to do playwriting. And I went to the school called the Eugene O'Neill Theater School, which was like a side school that you could go to while you're in college. And they made you do everything. So they made you write, they made you direct, they made you act. And so at the end of that, I got my first directing job. I was like 19 or something like that. And so my BFA is in directing. And so when I was in New York City, I did a lot of directing. And I did some acting too, and I did some films. But when I was in New York, it was another healing experience. My mom had died, and I moved there, and I just wanted to dance. Yeah. So that's where I became a dancer.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, that excites me.
Yeah. So that's where I became a dancer, and that's where I started painting, and I was just really a part of the underground scene.
Were you part of the village scene as well?
Yeah, that's the underground scene, or the downtown scene, I would say.
Okay.
So Lower East Side, East Village scene, Brooklyn scene. And so that's just a whole nother world of just amazing artists, and everyone's totally inspired, and everybody supports each other. So even though life was, sometimes difficult, like the day to day, it was still you still felt very nourished and very rich because of the people that you're with all the time, So it was beautiful, and I learned a lot in New York City, and that's just a home. It's another home for me.
That's lovely.
Yeah.
So what brought you back to Pittsburgh?
Trees. So I'm an environmentalist, so I'm just interested in trees and Mother Earth and being in nature and stuff like that. So that's why I came back here, and just I had been working in New York as an environmentalist, but I had not spent a lot of time in nature because
right.
You're just
the city.
You're in the city, the concrete jungle, and I felt like if I really wanted to be a steward for the earth, that I should get to know her better. And so I came here, and I've learned so much. Oh my God. I've learned so much. Like, the earth has taught me so much. I'm so thankful. Yeah. And not that she wasn't with me in New York, because she's with you everywhere, She's with you everywhere. But I have more of a time in the space to listen to her here. And to really get more intimate. So
most people don't realize that about Pittsburgh, but there are a lot of parks in Pittsburgh, and also areas around Pittsburgh that have a lot of greenery and a lot of hills and a lot of trees.
Yeah, yes. It's beautiful, and I think people take it for granted. People really do. Because I know in New York City, we were working with youth who lived in the Bronx that. We were creating gardens for them, and they were so psyched to have like a little garden for themselves and watch things grow. They're living in these huge apartment buildings, and they don't have any garden or backyard to go to, So for them, it was like so magical to see like the little, tomato plant growing, and so magical. But here, people say, "Why did you leave New York?" I'm like, "Oh, just so I could have trees." What? Yeah. Because everybody's got that here, and so people just take it for granted. Which is, it's just interesting to me because so much fracking is happening in Pennsylvania that you would think that people would look outside of look in their environment and go, wow, it's so beautiful, why would we want to mess it up? But people don't think that. People are like, let's just mess it up.
Well, they listen to the people that convince them that this is the right way to go for the economy and all that kind of thing. So,
right.
It's just...
But wouldn't something inside of you go, this is wrong?
Inside of me? It's exploding inside of me about fracking.
Right.
But yeah, I can't pretend to understand people's minds. The ordinary person's minds. That's why I'm fascinated by your mind. Because your mind is not an ordinary mind. And
thank God. Thank God.
Yes. Exactly.
Thank Goddess. Thank the Goddess.
So, well, this has been a nice introduction to you, Bobby.
Thank you.
So, I hope everybody's enjoyed hanging out with her. Like I get to.
Yay!
At least now in time.
Yay!
So we will see you later.
Loving you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.